we just saw Stranger Things season 4.
The first.
The first, what, 7?
Volume 1, I think
volume
they call
1.
it.
Yeah, we finished volume 1. We finally got around to it. And let me pull up the cast.
It took a little longer because these are long episodes.
Very long.
These are very hard to binge the whole thing because some of them were almost movie length.
Like you were watching almost like it's like you were watching like 7.
Some of the last
movies.
ones were like an hour and 40 minutes long for one episode. So.
Like each. I mean, but filling up a good story and whatnot. So you didn't
notice
feel
it.
Rushed. It paced good.
Yeah, it was just when you're starting something in the evening, you can't knock them all out.
Yeah, we're too old. We're too tired. But this season is like there's a lot of humor in the Stranger Things series, but this was I thought the last season was darker, the darkest one. This one got it's
when you've got like
dark
3 storylines going at the same time.
You got
Hawkins, a storyline in Hawkins.
With the Dungeons and Dragons crew, the what do they call themselves?
Hellfire Club.
The Hellfire Club. The drama with
you've got a storyline in California where they've moved.
Yeah, where 11
and Will,
Winona Ryder,
her family have moved
too.
And then you've got a storyline in Russia.
Because Hopper is alive. He survived that explosion
and he's in
was
prison.
captured in Russia. So 3 storylines going at the same time, but I think it paced and it went back and forth perfectly. The way they did it. The overall storyline of this one is like a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, very
homage. This is an homage to Nightmare on Elm Street. And seeing Robert Englund.
Yeah, I mean that. I was like, oh, definitely. You have to get the king to
play. It's funny how he's like the father of the Freddy Krueger of this movie. So overall, I mean, like that's what's going on. Okay,
snatching kids and nightmares and
So we have the mystery is that people who are being killed in a very specific way. It happened before in Hawkins years ago. So it's almost like a Freddy Krueger-ish, maybe an It type of that's connected to the Upside Down. A kind of a murder mystery kind of a thing.
This urban legend.
They're figuring out the mystery of that. It started off with the flashback that was from before. About to sneeze. Thank you. But that started off before season 1 with 11.
We did some flashbacks to her.
How she opened the first portal between the Upside Down and how it all got started. Now the show, the first episode began with a disclaimer that I heard about. Now, since what happened here in Texas,
it's very massacre-like.
Yeah, so you were dealing with a bunch of it was seeing technically it wasn't a shooting, but it was a mass killing of a lot of children. So that's interesting how quick Netflix was able to. I mean, because I'm sure it's all digital. I mean, it's like, well, wow, we got this. This just happened 3 or 4 days before we were about to drop this episode. I'm sure the executives. I'm sure an email got sent to went up, and it probably only took like 2 or 3 emails before somebody said yes, disclaimer, right in front of that, and they gave a little warning about what you were about to see based on what's actually going on. So that was quick thinking and good timing too, because that was that. I could already see some people being upset with that, but it was a little mystery behind it. Because it made you think that 11 killed a bunch of people. And I was like, from the very first episode, I was like, there's no way.
Oh, and she thinks she did it.
She thought she did.
Can't remember.
But that's how these movies do it, though. They always, even if they say it out loud, I can't believe I did that. Like, no, we didn't see you do it. So I wasn't buying it. There's no way. Because it's Millie Bobby Brown. They're not going to make 11 look like the bad guy like that.
Papa saying...
What did you do?
What did you do?
What did you do? Now, it turned out that was still justified because, I mean, she was tricked. I mean, to not relate, elongate the whole thing, gets right to the point. 11, it turned out she was tricked. And the main villain, what's his name? What did they call him? What the nickname that they gave him?
Vecna?
The Vecna that they gave him turned out to be number 1. The very first special powered kid. But then it turned out, we found out that number 1 was born with his powers. Yes, he was organic.
And he is Victor Creel's son.
Yeah. Who was played by Robert Englund. So it went deep into So it was like, it was like a chicken or egg kind of a thing. What came first, the Upside Down or these kids with the powers? Turned out the kids with the powers. The Upside Down was probably just minding its own business. We never would have, if it wasn't for that fight that happened between 11 and 1.
Banished him there,
and she banished him there, and I guess 1 was introduced to the big. What's the big bad's name again? That big giant leg monster that's controlling the Upside. The Demigorgon. Yeah, I guess I don't know how. Like for some reason he works for him.
If I'm here in hell, I better
make the best of it.
Make this work.
I mean, if using, I guess he figures that if using our powers was able to open that door and bring me to this dimension, it's got to work the other way around. So it turns out that this whole thing with the gate being open, all of this was really with the help of the Demigorgon, whatever you pronounce it, is really 1 trying to get back into this on this side or build the strength, I guess, to come back,
collecting all the souls.
So. Or get enough strength in that Freddy Krueger like way.
Because he told Elle, he's like, they're not gone, they're all right here.
They're all right, yeah.
All of them.
Every person he kills, he collects, just like Freddy Krueger. So he's pretty much Freddy Krueger. And it's funny how it happened because he doesn't kill you when you're dreaming or you're sleeping. It's almost like he forces you into a daydream or a hypnotic trance, which means that you're not safe at any moment because you don't have to just fall asleep. He can just
which they find music kind of
breaks you out. It can be a way to break out of the spell. And
we even had Robert Englund scratching a desk.
I didn't notice him do that.
He was doing it just because he's
gone a little
crazy because of what happened. But yeah, he was just repetitively scraping the desk.
But you got like we said before, you got 3 separate stories going on. You got Hopper trying to bust out of Russia. You got, and
they don't. No one knows what any of the others are doing because the ones in Hawkins have no idea that Elle's been taken back to the
military to
get her powers back. Elle has no idea that kids are being snatched in Hawkins because they told her that.
Joyce and Liz Murray.
She doesn't tell them that she's going to rescue Hopper, so they have no idea.
Everybody's just moving around between Russia, California, and Hawkins, and of course, doing these separate stories.
Hopper and Joyce have no idea that Elle's been taken and that kids are being snatched.
Everybody's lying to each other, and it's just this big, like each one of these storylines could be a whole season by itself. But they're juggling, and that's probably why every episode was so long.
But we got to see some progression and some. We got to see Murray
finally look like put his.
We're joking about his karate skills, but then really do some karate skills.
We even got to see behind the scenes of him actually practicing, so that was. That was cool. But going back into to Hawkins, what's going on with that murder mystery with the dungeon? You got that old trope where, remember back in the day when crime was going crazy, so they thought they could blame it on hip-hop.
They keep talking about it's the devil, it's satanic.
They blame it on rock and roll. Now they blame it on this, on Dungeons and Dragons.
The Hellfire Club.
Yeah, they must be. And
they all look crazy, so they're like, they're all the devil.
So it's got a religious factor going on there. So it's funny how all this crazy stuff is going. The fact that Vecna can target kids that have just recently gone through a trauma, and because
I guess they're weaker.
They're more
easier to.
Yeah, and since Max lost her brother the way he did, like she was going through trauma, so he was one of the targets where it takes a few days. So that felt like The Ring to me, 7 days.
Yeah, because they were all adding so it was 7. So I'm on day 5.
So exactly, you only have like a week to live before he's strong enough to be able to get each victim. And something that came to my attention before we started recording. It turns out that there are some people online who are crushing over Vecna. Not just the actor, I guess, that's playing him, but him in his disturbing, slithering, snaky form, like he's becoming a sex symbol now. Like there's Vecna stands out there for some reason.
Gross, but okay.
I guess
last season
maybe it's really for the actual actor, but.
Last season it was Billy that died.
Yeah, at least I can understand Billy. That's the Red Ranger.
Of course, we did see the Steve take his shirt off, and Dustin cracking a joke saying, I keep telling him to cut all that hair off, like, but he tells me he gets the ladies, and then Max steals the binoculars. And
yeah, like people crushing over Steve. And I find it interesting that it seems like Nancy is now starting to...
Well, and they keep telling her, like, you two don't act like there's something there.
Yeah, your time away from Jonathan is showing that you never really...
Robin keeps pushing Nancy to, like, you still like him. And Eddie keeps telling Steve, dude, she's not acting like somebody who...
doesn't love you.
She jumped in straight to the water without a hesitation. I was sitting there like, I'm not going. And then I'm like, dang it, I got to go now because they all went in.
Right.
That's not somebody, she likes you or she wouldn't do that.
Right. And I think Jonathan's all acting like, we got to help save the world. We got to get 11 or help 11 and get back to Hawkins. But Jonathan is just trying to get back to Nancy. I think he subconsciously senses that he's losing his girlfriend to Steve. And I'm sorry, the way what's happening right now, it's what makes sense. They make a little bit more sense than Nancy and Jonathan. But I think the actors, Nancy and Jonathan, I think they're dating in real life.
Oh, are they?
I think so. I got to look that up, but I think they're dating in real life. And then you got Dr. Martin Brenner, Papa, back in the mix. I don't know why I thought he died.
Matthew Modine?
Yeah, I thought he died, but he's back in the mix, and he's a big help trying to get Elle her powers back. Now that she's getting them back, or got them back. I wonder, my prediction for the final 2 episodes, those final 2 movies that we're going to get.
Yeah, because they're supposed to be like 2.5 hours long a piece. Or something.
An hour and a half a piece at least.
I think it's like 2 hours and something.
2 hours a piece. 2 movies. Elle's gonna have to get revenge on those girls that's bullying her. I mean, she knocked one out with the roller skates. I guess that's enough. But something, there's gotta be.
Not physical revenge,
just
but
a little something.
That come back and you don't look the same and you don't act the same, and then everybody's like, "Wait, who's that girl?" And you're just like,
Billy, 11 needs to. I mean, that roller skate thing wasn't enough. She needs to do something. But the biggest thing that I'm concerned about leading into those last episodes is what's the boy's name that had to go on the run because it looks like Eddie's taking the blame for the kills that Vecna is doing. I don't see a way for him to clear his name. There will
have to be a big showdown where the town sees some crazy stuff to go. I don't really want to explain this, but we know you didn't do it, and we're just going to leave it alone.
Well, they're accusing them of Satanism. I mean, the one boy that's leading the charge against them, that they could see Vecna is Satan himself coming up, and they're like, unless they see Eddie fighting and trying to destroy him, the town. I feel like religious nuts are like, we know they're gonna blame Eddie anyway. It's like, okay, yeah, we just saw you destroy Vecna, but you probably conjured him up.
Well, I mean, they tried that with the boat because they specifically said he was sitting in the boat. He didn't touch Patrick, the other kid. And he goes, but he called Satan on him. He still called Satan. That's how he killed him.
So I don't see a way out for Eddie unless all those people that he's now rallied in town get wiped out. I don't see a way out for Eddie. I don't see a happy ending for Eddie because no matter what they do, they can see Eddie save the day. They're still going to blame him for it because they think he conjured it up.
Well, like now all the parents are
paranoid. And now the parents of the hero kids have now been. That's another group of that's band together. The parents of our heroes have now rallied together to save their kids.
Because they all think they're involved with the devil.
So I don't know. To me that's an interesting. I don't know how they're going to wrap. There's going to be a lot to wrap up now. Having the last 2 episodes being 2 hours apiece, that's plenty of time. That's like almost 4+ episodes. If they were just an hour long, so yeah, there's time to wrap this up. We still have
to get Hopper and Joyce and them back.
They still haven't made it to this thing. They've made it to each other. But now it's like, how are you going to get out of Russia now? It doesn't look. I don't know. It looks very. It's gonna be interesting that the kids. It seems like the kids are gonna save the day, solve the mystery.
Well, hopefully,
without Hopper,
the one Russian guard that's now kind of his friend.
They have to be friends now. They got no choice.
He will have some sort of connection, and he's Russian at least, so at least he knows the surroundings and the areas to at least
get out. They're obviously going to use him to get out. But it feels like that final fight. It'll be interesting that the kids will save Hawkins without Hopper and Joyce, unless they show up at the very end to fight alongside. It would be funny if they go. It'd be funny if like an hour before the last episode, they save the town and then Hopper and Joyce make it out of Russia. And it's like, what did we miss? Like, what are y'all doing? Nothing. Like, what happened here?
It was an uneventful week.
Yeah, are they gonna? I don't know which one I want. Which one would you prefer? Would you rather Joyce and Hopper make it to
them
fight?
asking her what she did? Oh, nothing. Just it was a conference.
Yeah, but which would you prefer? Would you prefer them kill the monster before they make it to back into the States, or would you prefer them to show up at the last second and fight alongside the kids? Which one do you think would be more? I have a prediction of what's more likely, but which one would you prefer?
I mean, I think they could do it without it, and it would probably be funny to just have them all finally make it back and just be like,
what'd you go through? Well, they probably would tell the truth. Well, we saved the town from Vecna. Okay. And what did you guys do? We had to say and then Hopper walks in. We found Hopper in Russia.
Okay.
It'd be a surprise ending, a surprise happy ending for everybody after everything's all done. It's like, how did you do it? That's a long story. Like, what happened here in Hawkins? That's a long story. That'd be funny. I think that's likely. I think that's how. I don't know if, or at the very, very, very end, it's a surprise. Oh my God, Hopper's alive. Oh my God, that's Vecna. Like, and then Hopper shoots Vecna in the head. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna happen. I think the first way is funny. That's how I would end it. But that's it. I guess that's.
I mean, you've got now some other, because it's all 80s themes. We've got 80s songs that are now shooting to the top of the charts again. now currently. Songs that were popular in the 80s that have shot back to the top of the records.
I don't want
bottle